Poetical Outlaws.
Hello and welcome to the Poetical Outlaws podcast. In conversation today, we have no other than Jade Mia Broadhead. Hello, Jade.
Hi,
How are
Gary. I'm good. Yeah, it's a lovely day, isn't it? A lovely summer. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for coming along. Before we begin, can you tell everyone a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Jade Mia Broadhead. I am a singer-songwriter. So I perform solo, but I'm also in a band called Dinky Bossetti, who are a three-piece Riot Girl DIY punk band. And yeah, I put out my first album last year as a solo artist. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do as a songwriter and a performer. So yeah.
Brilliant. Well, we'll give the listeners a piece of your work now. We're going to listen to a track or watch if you're watching on YouTube. What's this first song called? And
this one's called My Mum's Hometown. So it was written about her hometown of Hebburn in South Tyneside.
which is also where I come from.
Which is where Gary comes from.
So let's give that a listen.
I did it just to get in nicely at the beginning. I'm joking.
Well, let's give that a listen to now.
I see my mom's ghost on the 27th as it drives by in February rain. I see my dad walking to pay for the papers. Headlines are always the same. Sitting proud on the banks of the Tyne. This is my mom's hometown, not mine. I leave one step at a time. Oh, it's my mom's hometown, not mine. Don't go wandering down Tweed Street, there's flags that you don't wanna see. The family home is just a house without family. Now there's no one left but me. Sitting proud on the banks of the Tyne. This is my mom's hometown, not mine. I leave one step at a time. Oh, it's my mom's hometown, not mine. School is sinking, said generations of kids, but the foundation still remains. Watch my mom and dad age, where I once hung from the goalposts to ease my growing pain. Sitting proud on the banks of the Tyne. This is my mom's hometown, not mine. I leave one step at a time. Oh, it's my mom's hometown, not mine. my mom's hometown, not mine. Oh, it's my mom's hometown, not mine. Oh, it's my mom's hometown, not mine. I'm still looking for a sign to take me home.
Excellent. That was fantastic. That, Jade. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Is there anything more about the song? Or
Yeah, it's a very personal song. My mum passed away last year, and I'd pretty much finished my second album. Has been finished for a bit, and that was the last song I wrote for that album, and it needed one more song. And a few people have said they think it's my best, and I certainly think it's one of my favorite songs. And it's just about, you know, grief. Like, there's a lot of themes on my second album to be released, which is about grief and losing my mum and dealing with that, and a lot about sort of interpersonal relationships and things. But yeah, my mum's hometown it's kind of, I lived in Hebburn for a while, but I wasn't born there, and I didn't grow up there, so it's never really felt like a hometown to me, and that's what the song's about. So it's my mum's hometown.
Right.
And it's kind of about struggle for identity as well, because, you know, it's questioning, where is my hometown? Do I even have one? Like, I was born in Newcastle, raised in the south, and now live back in Newcastle. So Newcastle is my hometown, but if you lose your family, if you don't have family, if you don't have your parents, you kind of lose this sense of home and identity. So I don't feel like there's a home anymore. Yeah. So my family home's long gone and things like that. So yeah, it encompasses all those things, I think.
Right. Yeah, that's understandable, you know. It's like, and I suppose it's wherever you lay your hat. That's home.
Yeah.
Excellent. So normally I'll ask people what inspired them to start writing and that, but it was like, I am going to ask you that, but at the same time, was, you know, with you being a musician, did the music or the writing come first?
Right, yeah, that's an interesting one. Like, I've always written songs. I've been writing lyrics since I was a kid, and before I could ever play guitar.
Right.
And for years and years and years, you know, I sort of dabbled with the guitar. I would have periods of playing a lot of music and then sort of not. And stage fright came into that a lot. Like, I would play maybe an open mic night and it wouldn't go perfectly, and I would panic. And then I would not do another one for a month or so. And it wasn't until really COVID where I started playing guitar every single day. And the more I did that, so it used to be a case of writing lyrics and then coming up with guitar parts for it. But ever since I got more into playing guitar and playing guitar on a very regular basis, and obviously we had a lot of time on our hands, and I was in this kind of online closed mic night called Bar No Go. And we would write songs for each other. It was kind of like, right, we had theme weeks. So you could write a song on a theme, you could do a cover song. But it got me writing in different styles as well. And I would cover lots of different songs. I was covering anything from rock songs to hip hop. Just on acoustic guitar, which is a really good way of, it was the same when I was kind of more a writer, and I would read all different types of books, from like, you know, biography to fiction to children's books to, like, you know, noir, all these kind of things, because the more sort of genres that you have and can do, the better a writer you become. And that's with a songwriter as well as being a writer. So it was but then the more I was playing guitar on a regular basis, you know, now I write lyrics and write the guitar parts at the same time, which I think is much better, because to me guitar was always just a way of getting the lyrics across. Yeah. And I don't look at it like that now. Like, the guitar parts, you know, the tune and the melody and everything is just as important, because, like, you can have the greatest lyric of all time, but if there's no tune or melody for someone to get, you know, that's what people hear first. They don't hear the lyric first. I tend to, because I'm obsessed. I'm more a lyricist than a guitar player. I'm not a very good guitar player. I think I'm quite a good lyricist. And but now it's much more, and I'll still write I write lyrics all the time on my phone. If I don't have my guitar around, I'm on a train, or I used to write a lot of lyrics when I would go for a run, because it cleared the head. And there would be all sorts of like little lyric bits on my phone of like me going, like taken out of context, it would sound awful because I'd be running and I'd be out of breath and I'd be going like, I miss you. I can't live without. So it would sound pretty awful. But yeah, I've got like hundreds and hundreds of notes and some lyrics that'll, one day I'll go around and maybe do a David Bowie kind of patchwork sort of songwriting where he just puts the lyrics into a hat and pulls them out and puts them together and makes it into a song, which is not something I've ever tried.
Yeah, I think a lot of the beat poets and things in the 60s and a lot of that was basically the original copy and pasting and
exactly.
Stuff.
I love copy and paste. It saves so much time.
Yeah. I mean, it fascinates me because, I've wrote lyrics. I'm no good at instruments, but I have picked a couple up. But even if I was good, I'm like, I wouldn't know how to blend them two together.
Yeah.
So I think I started writing to be lyrics, but like, that's probably why I never performed them. I just like being punk rocker and that. I was like, they're not, nah. And I never got this chorus thing. I've got a couple of stuff where it's like goes that traditional verse chorus and that, but I used to look at them going, they're not lyrics. Yeah. And then when I discovered poetry, it was like,
don't need
better. You can only let yourself down. Because I've had people in bands and they go, I don't know how you can get up on your own and perform poems. I'll go, well, if I mess up, it's my own fault. If I was in a band, I'd have the pressure on us of I wouldn't want to mess it up for everybody else, that kind of thing. So you don't know all that. And what was it that first got you to go, I'm going to go and perform these to an audience?
Yeah, I think, it comes part and parcel. I wanted to be, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a rock star and stuff. I wanted to be like, first of all, it was like, I got into like Guns N' Roses like every teenager. So I wanted to be like Axl Rose running around the stage. And then I would get into sort of more the bands that have stuck with me for life, like The Replacements and Husker Du and Babes in Toyland. And I remember, being trans, I remember like people when I was pre-transition, when I was like younger, and people had like the blonde floppy hair and people were like, you want to be Kurt Cobain? And I was like, okay. And then I'd go away, I was like, I want to be Courtney Love. So I wanted to be Cat Bjorland on stage, so like from Babes in Toyland. So I always wanted to do that, but I just didn't have any confidence whatsoever. And I would do open mic nights. I couldn't sing. I hadn't learnt, like I didn't know how capos were. I just wasn't a musical person at all. Like there was no, I think musically you get some people who are just natural musicians. And then I always wanted to perform live. I wanted that, being on stage and stuff like that. And, but I just didn't have any confidence at all. And I would play an open mic and maybe one would go okay. So I'd go along to the next one and I would make a mistake and I wouldn't go again for a month. Because I thought like it felt like the world was closing in on me. But as well, just performing regularly during COVID and performing to friends on our closed mic night online, like those Zoom sessions, I can't even begin to express how important those were in terms of me becoming the performer I am today. Because, with COVID, everything got just I would fill my life with gigs, football matches, drinking, drugs, everything I could to not face the reality of who I was. And then COVID, everything got erased, but like the open mic night was like the closed mic night online was like the one thing you could put in your diary and you could look forward to it. And I would practice songs over and over, which I never did before. And then when COVID opened up, when the world opened up again, we needed an open mic night to go to. And our friend Alex started working at the Globe. And that it just went from there. Even then I was still not a very good performer. I was, just coming out. But coming out made all the difference in the world to my stage ability. It was almost like Supergirl doing the twirl in the phone box. And, it was like getting on stage. I felt like a superhero coming out of my shell and just, like having those powers. And now I still get nervous. I think you probably don't care enough if you don't get nervous or you I don't have drink or drugs to rely on anymore. And I still get nervous, but there's nowhere I'd rather be. Yeah, and I'll play anywhere, and I'll play at any place, like random venues. The more random, the better. And with Dinky, that's taken on to a whole other level where it's just so much fun being on stage with your bandmates, with a band, and it's like it is on another level. And I'll roll around stage or like go wandering into the crowd, and it's just It's the one time I want attention. Yeah. And unfortunately, being who I am, I get a lot of unwanted attention. But that attention on stage is the one time I want that attention.
Right. And just for people that don't know, Dinky is short for Dinky Bossetti, which is Jade's band, which is also in, as well as doing her solo stuff. But yeah, when you're talking about the nerves, I don't think they go. I think what it is, you get more practice of dealing with them.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They become less of an issue.
Yeah.
Because once you're on stage now, I think that tends to disappear.
As soon as I strum the first chord.
And you're off it. You know where you're at.
And I've got IBS, so some of those stage nerves are not pretty. So sometimes I'll hear like, "Where's Jade?" And I'm like upstairs I'm in the bathroom, just going like, "Oh." As soon as I get on that stage and play that first chord, it all just melts away. But sometimes it can take a song or two to settle. I tend to get around nerves by talking a lot. Which you'll find when you're having to edit this. And I do that on stage, and which is fine if you've got unlimited time. It's not fine when you've got a half an hour set. Yeah, so I'm constantly being reminded by my bandmates. But I always think as well, I think there's a part of me that actually wanted to be a comedian, because I get as much enjoyment as seeing someone laugh.
Yes.
When I'm talking on stage as when I'm performing a song. So yeah, I think I do take a lot of enjoyment for just putting smiles on people's faces. I mean, who doesn't enjoy that? So, but seeing someone laugh, like there's nothing more beautiful than seeing somebody laugh.
It's pretty addictive. Because I'd perform poems, and then the first poem I performed that made people laugh, you thought, oh, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
You want to make people laugh, but then you actually, when it comes down to it, you just want to be able to express yourself. You can't just express the humorous side, So, but I can understand that. I mean, I've done a poem that's made people laugh, and then I've done it at a different venue.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and you're
Yeah.
you get used to it after a while. You know that all crowds are different. And that. I mean, talking of performing, shall we hear another song by you?
Okay. Yeah. So this one is called "A Better Life," and it was a single I put out, a double A side single. If you can have double A sides on digital singles, earlier this year, and it's basically from the point of view of somebody, an immigrant, basically, someone, you hear a lot about small boats and all this kind of thing, and it seems to be this big topic of news because it's distracting from the real stories that are out there, such as government ripping people off and CEOs ripping people off. But it's from the point of view of somebody who's escaping a life to try and find something better. Right. And it doesn't have a very happy ending, I'm afraid. But yeah, a better life.
Right, well, we'll give that a listen right now.
Hold on to our daughter, I'll hold on to our son. We'll hold on to each other. Now we're always on the run. We sold everything we owned to go any place, anywhere, to a strange land far from home. Be safe when we got there. They're just looking for faith we take to the seas, even God's not on our side. There's too many like us aboard, we've been sold so many lies. They're just looking for a better life. Aren't we all just looking for a better life? They're just looking for a better life. Aren't we all just looking for a better life? Hold on to our daughter, I'll hold on to our son. I can't even see the moon no more, water makes the colors run. All our hopes and dreams lost to a violent sea. Better life was within our reach, but I guess it's not for you and me. They're just looking for a better life. Aren't we all just looking for a better life? They're just looking for a better life. Aren't we all just looking for a better life? They're just looking for a better life. Aren't we all just looking for a better life? They're just looking for a better life. Aren't we all just looking for a better life?
Right, that was brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Jade. You've also recently released an album, haven't you?
Yeah, it was. Should I start?
I think Delicate Flower, Prickly Thorns.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of story behind the title as well.
There is, yeah. So my ex-boyfriend, who's now my best friend, he once called me he used to call me his delicate flower, and I once retorted with prickly thorns, and that's kind of, it stuck. So like that's it's in one of the songs, Cocked and Loaded, on the album. So that's the only time where the title appears, and that song's about him as well. But then I was kind of looking for an album cover as well. So my mum had been diagnosed terminal cancer, and I was talking to somebody about doing a photo shoot and stuff, and the idea of like being amongst flowers to replicate the album title and stuff. And then one day, me and my mum were going through, we were doing clear outs and stuff of her house, and because she insisted on doing all that kind of thing. And we were going through photos and trying to get rid of duplicates, like see which ones I was going to keep, because so many albums and I had a small flat. And I came across this photo of my mum when she was like 15, taken in heaven, on a field, which I think is now a pub, maybe. I can't remember which one.
Right.
And I just saw that picture and I was like, that's perfect.
Right.
Like that's absolutely perfect, because the Delicate Flower, Prickly Thorns was very much my mum as well. I think it's one of the things when you get older is that you realize you turn into your parents regardless of whether you want to or not. And especially since like it was a year into hormones that I always looked a lot like my dad, like very much like my dad pre-transition. And then a year into hormones, someone commented on a picture of me and my mum that we looked alike. Me and my mum looked at the photo and we're like, oh oh my God. And then like the more transition went on, the more I started looking like my mum, and I've got my mum's cheekbones, which is like something completely unexpected. Just didn't expect that change to happen at all. And I know girls can look like their dads, but it was my dad had very masculine features, so it was very much a dysphoria. But like seeing, especially once my mum had passed, I'd look in the mirror, and it's like I look in the mirror now and I see my mum, which is amazing. It's probably like, transitions give me a lot of things, including like the ability to get on stage and perform music. But it might be one of my favorite things is that I get to see my mum when I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
It was just such an unexpected bonus. So that album cover just seemed perfect. And I put the album out in October. It's my first debut. It's my first debut album. It's actually my second debut album in a funny way, because I did release an album pre-transition, which was more a soundtrack to a novel that I published like about 10 years ago, which is in my dead name. So really that was made up of some songs recorded in my friend's studio setup and some songs recorded on my little digi studio at home. So it wasn't a fluent album or anything. So this is the first time I worked properly on an album. And I recorded it with a guy called Martin Francis Trollope, also known as Harbour Master. And I will never go to anybody else. He's wonderful, because I am not a multi-instrumentalist at all. He is. I can play guitar and sing, and that's pretty much it. So like on my second album, which I've finished, I play a lot of piano, but it's I've never played piano in my life. I had piano lessons when I was a child, and I remember running out screaming and crying because the piano teacher had been like horrible to me, and I never went back. And but they're literally just Martin would be playing a song, like, Martin would be recording a bass track in like the studio bit of it, and there was a piano in the next room, and I would just start playing along these sort of one or two note kind of tunes. This kind of like that John Carpenter style, like, chilling Halloween style things. And I ended up doing it on like 6 or 7 tracks. And the more I do it, the more confident I got with it. So I'm absolutely not a pianist. I still wouldn't say I'm a pianist, but I played piano on the album. But on my first album, it was like I played guitar, vocals, and like hand claps. Anywhere I could get myself on the credits as well. And and Martin did sort of bass, lead guitar, drums. So he's an incredibly talented musician, also in a very good band called American Wrestling. So the album was kind of a mix of stuff. It was, I guess the best of what most of it was written in the sort of 2 or 3 years before it was put out. So there was some songs about transition and stuff. A lot of the stuff I put out first, like Jade was my first single, which was about transness. Turf Wars, which was about Jade was like about trans joy. Turf Wars was about transphobia. And then I put out an EP called Seasons, which was entirely to do with transition. It was like the 4 seasons of the year, but sort of from a transition point of view of like, the transitioning seasons, that kind of thing. And a couple of singles, but this was like the first album. So there's a few songs about being trans, but I didn't want to, that's not just who I am. So there are songs, songs about me just being a gal in a relationship, or, songs about different things that affect us all in life and everything, and trying to find our place. And so, it's always going to be, like on my second album, I don't think there's a single reference to being trans. There are certainly, if you look underneath, you can see that's what it's about. And I'm always going to be a trans singer-songwriter, so it's always going to be from that point of view, without necessarily singing. I don't want to just sing about the same things all the time. Having said that, I can let you in on a little thing. So my next album, because the second one's finished, but I haven't had the time or sort of energy to put it out and do the whole promotion thing. But My Mum's Hometown will be the first single, and it's potentially going to be the 2nd of October. But I keep putting that date back because I don't get around to doing it. And we've been focusing on Dinky. Dinky are currently recording an album, which will hopefully finish tomorrow night, also with Martin.
Oh, brilliant.
So my mum's hometown should be 2nd of October, but pending. But my next project is, I hate the word project actually, my next album, my next thing is going to be a musical that I've been writing, which is very, very much to do with the trans experience. So that's, I kind of leave it for a few months and then I'll like blitz it in a night and work.
Yeah.
So a lot of the songs are written. It's kind of, I'm going to have some friends performing on there, hopefully. So some friends have agreed to be on there, which is going to be a fun experience. But that's the next big thing.
Right.
So to my loyal trans fan base, I am not ignoring you with the songwriting. Don't worry. The songs I've been writing will be on this musical at some point.
Right, funny enough, because you were talking about your mum, and I met her at the first ever trans stock.
Right, okay.
And you look very similar. But I'll tell you what, though, because I remember asked her if she could look after me coat, put it next to her, and she wasn't, but when you think you were playing, and everyone was dancing around, I could see the pride on her face, watching you play now. And it just filled my heart, because I knew obviously what was going on in your mum's life as well. And it was such a lovely moment to have witnessed, so.
Yeah, those gigs she attended, I mean, a lot of my friends knew her because she'd come to so many gigs. And actually, like, she didn't come to many Dinky gigs at first because she liked my solo stuff, but then she would hear my Dinky stuff and it was like, there was swearing in it and there was like references to sax in it. And she was like, yes, I like the solo things. The band, not so much. And I remember actually the first time she saw the band, because we've just had Raise Up Festival, which is a wonderful festival put on by Leo Costello to raise money for Golden Hearts. And the first one was the first time my mum saw us. And I remember performing some of the songs and just like seeing her in the crowd, and she'd be like, I think that she seemed to be looking at the mirror a lot. Looking at us through a mirror, but she's looking that way. But I was like, whenever I'd swear, I'd look at her go, God. Sorry. But then, I mean, especially when she would come to Lords, she came to the first trans stock, which that was probably like, it's certainly the biggest achievement at that time in my life was putting on that first event. And to have her there just made it all the more special. Because by the time the second one happened, she'd passed away. But yeah, to have her there was absolutely magical. And then she was coming to loads of our gigs at the end. Like, I performed twice in 2 nights, and she came to the first one at the Clooney, which was a solo gig, supporting Cheap Dirty Horse, who are amazing, with Gaydar, who are also incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And my mum was dancing, and then she turned up the next night when Dinky were playing in Downcast in Gateshead with my cousin in tow. And I was like, what the hell? I did not expect to see you here. And she was like, this was 4 months, March. It was like 4 months before she passed away. But yeah, there was a sad part because I was due to play Heaven Pride.
Yeah.
And that was going to be I'd never played. I played in Heaven before. I played at my cousin's wedding years and years ago. But I was really looking forward to that show, and she wasn't well, and it was like, okay, is this gonna happen and stuff? And I was like, but I wanted to perform in my mum's hometown for her.
Yeah.
And then she sadly passed away a couple of days before, so I wanted to kind of go through with it for her, but I couldn't. There's no way, and the organisers knew what was happening, and They were very understanding. So that was the sad aspect of it. But then I wrote that song, My Mum's Hometown, about her in Heaven. And I was hoping to go back and play Heaven Pride this year, but Dinky had a gig at Hexham Pride, so I couldn't. So one day I'll go back and perform. But me and my friend are going to hopefully shoot a music video for it next week as well, back in Heaven. It'll be the first time I've been since sold Mum's house, basically.
Oh, right. You might be this. Do you know who else has shot a music video in Heaven?
Who?
Gary Newman.
Really?
If you watch the video
Metal, right.
There used to be, up next, I don't know if there used to be the fire station. There was this, was it Marco Peru? I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was this factory, and it was all these, it was all metal in that, but and these, I don't know what they were like the things that you put on pylons, you know.
Okay.
See on there. I can't remember exactly what it was because it was when I was young. But if you watch the video, that's Gary Newman in there, and it used to be at the fire station, which is, how would you explain it? You know, St. Joseph's School.
Yeah.
And you're going up towards Pilo. It used to be up there, you know. Right. I mean, there might be other bands that have recorded there, but Gary Newman and now Dinky Bossetti.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Well, it'll be a solo one. But yeah, it's hopefully I'll use some of the prettier sights in heaven. I'm just hoping for a sunny day so it's not raining. But yeah, that should be a fun experience and a little strange too.
Right. So how many trance stocks have you done now? Is it 2 or 3?
3.
3.
Yeah. There are no plans currently to do another. So but I think as well, if I ever do it again, it would need funding. So I'd have to apply for funding because the artist would play for free because it was a fundraiser. So all the money went to B Trans Support, a local trans charity, and not paying artists. I wasn't comfortable with that because, you know, it's becoming more and more of a struggle to be in a band in the current climate with venues closing all the time. Lots of gigs get cancelled because of a lack of advance sales, which is partly down to COVID. Like people don't buy advance tickets as much anymore. But being in a band is a struggle. It's financial. You're committing to basically, you know, Dinky, we do okay as a band. Basically, we've always had the policy of everything we make goes back into the band. So it means that we can, when it comes to recording an album, we can do that because we've got money in the pot. It's not, one person can't afford to do it, or, you know, we have to wait to save up. And, you know, we've had enough gigs that sort of been well paying to a lot of gigs, you know, I mean, it's never for the money for me anyway. I just enjoy it so much. It's what I do. It's a nice bonus. It's a nice bonus. And, you know, with Dinky, it's kind of more important because it's, you know, it pays for an album. It pays for us to get T-shirts and then sell them at reasonable prices. You know, we sell T-shirts for £10. So it's like, you know, we can make £3-4 profit, and that'll do us. That's fine. That'll help. You know, we can do another batch of T-shirts, and T-shirts is free advertising. So actually, someone wearing your T-shirt and seeing someone at a T-shirt, a gig wearing our T-shirt, and I'm like, I don't even know that person. That's amazing.
You know, that's my issue with carrier bags. Do you know if you get a carrier bag from the shop and you had to pay for it before it was enforced? And why should I pay to advertise it? I'll pay for a blank one. But what I used to do sometimes was turn the bag inside out when I was in a stroppy mood.
That's a very good idea.
I'm not paying to advertise you, know. But no, that's a good, you know, it's like what you were saying there. I'm sure like bands don't mind playing for free to help raise money and that. But it's the same in the poetry world, you know. Poets, they do most of their stuff for free, and I want to be able to pay them, you know, and like I haven't got money to do it. And I'm not like a box ticker and justifying funding and all that. So that's why we have the entrance fee, and then the money gets shared between the performers, you know. Well, I think we'll hear another song from you now, if you don't mind. What have we got next?
The next one is called My American Dream, and it was the double A side of A Better Life. And it was, I mean, I grew up loving America. I spent, you know, all my favorite culture came from America. I was obsessed with the Wonder Years as a kid. Still am, to be honest. I discovered a lot of music through the Wonder Years, like, you know, Beach Boys, Simon and Garfunkel, Janis Joplin, just so many incredible artists. And, you know, all my favorite bands are American, like The Replacements, Counting Crows, you know, like all of them basically, like the vast majority of my favorite artists, and movies as well. I'm a huge movie nerd, and you know, I grew up sort of with Spielberg and Cameron Crowe. So America was just a big part of who I was as a person in terms of cultural identity and stuff. And I spent a lot of time, my best ever time traveling around America was my best ever time pre-transition, my best period in life was 3 months backpacking around the States. And actually footage from that trip is the music video on which you can see on YouTube. There's a little clip of a pre-transition me. Yeah, so and then obviously Donald Trump got his hands on it for a second time. And a lot of people don't know this, but if I was to apply to go back to America to apply for a visa, I would be put on the terrorist watch list. Purely and simply because I'm trans, because I've been there before with my previous passport and the gender marker would come up and I would be put down as a terrorist.
I've got a terrorist in my house.
You've got a terrorist in your house.
My
and
goodness,
it's
honestly.
I mean, I'm the biggest danger to anybody I am is to myself.
Microwave issues.
Oh, I nearly microwaving pancakes, 20-second pancakes, and the fire brigade come out. I'm probably a threat to technology, because when technology fails, I get very, very angry and I don't take it very well. So all my pent up aggression comes out on technology, which is why I break things a lot. But in terms of people, so it's a sad situation and it's a frightening reality in America for a lot of people, for trans people, especially LGBT people, for Black people, for women. It's just terrifying. And unfortunately, what you see happens a lot is what happens in America happens here next. And we've seen that with the Supreme Court judgment on bathrooms. And whilst mainland Europe seems to be improving greatly, we as a country are going backwards, and that's a lot down to America and fundamentalist Christians funding these sort of anti-LGBT movements. And the next one will be abortion. That's what they'll be going after next, and they already are. So, this is my American dream, which turned into a bit of a nightmare.
Well, let's give that a listen right now.
My American dream has become a nightmare. No more land of the freights for the billionaires. Bring me your tired and huddled masses. As long as they're rich, white and male. I'm an enemy of the state. I'm a victim of your hate for being me. The lovely Miss Liberty sheds tears for all she wants, how dear. Raise the names down at Stonewall. Sylvia Rivera, Marsha P. Fascism is back in fashion. Where's the fighters with their passion for being free? Carrigan, let the stars and stripes shine again. Let us dream of America before it's too late. I once crossed the country via Greyhound. Now the hounds of hell play being God. Stars and stripes are replaced by dollars. White House is soaked in minorities' blood. They spit their venom at the Constitution. Where the hell's the revolution to set us free? Make America Carrigan. Let the stars and stripes shine again. Let us dream of American before it's too late.
Right, that was excellent. Brilliant. Right, that brings us to what I'm calling now the dead or alive round, wanted. So I'm basically going to ask you basically a favourite, inspirational or whatever, a poet, comedian and lyricist. It could be dead or alive, or you could have a dead one and an alive one.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with wanted, dead or alive, poet.
Poet. So I'll be honest, poetry's not my biggest thing. I love hearing poetry, and I've got some wonderfully talented friends. One very close to me who are fantastic poets. It's just not something, I don't read poetry. I've got oh God, what's her name? The one everyone's got, very depressing. I've forgotten her name. Sylvia Plath.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
right,
I've got a Sylvia Plath book of poetry, which I think every sort of depressed girl has at some point in their lives.
Right.
And I've got my friends' poetry books and stuff like that, but I'm just not really big into reading. I like hearing it.
Yes, I'm the same.
I mean, a lot of time when I'm reading it, it's like kind of reading lyrics. And I don't really like reading lyric. Like, I love having the lyric sheets in albums. I absolutely love, which is why I do that on mine. But, to know what the words are, because they're not always clear and stuff like that. And to read along the lyrics when you're listening, when you was a kid and stuff, it'd be like poring over them. But yeah, poetry. But having said that, there's a trans poet called Reese Leon, and she's an actress as well. And she wrote this poem called I Am a Woman and I Have a Penis. Right. And it's actually the only time I've ever actually read a poem. And it was on that closed mic night that we were doing online with our friends. And I read that. It was the one time I did poetry. And it was shortly before I came out, and I was terrified. I was like shaking. I was I've got so much appreciation for poets, because I do want to try doing it, getting up and reading some poems, but the courage to do that. I have a guitar and I hide behind it. That's my shield. Yeah. Without my shield, I'd be like with a piece of paper, my voice would go. I'm going to read one later, so you'll probably find out. But my voice would crack, and I'd just be like, oh my God. But yeah, that poem meant a lot, and she's incredibly talented. And it was viewed on YouTube. Like, she did a YouTube performance, I think at the Royal Albert Hall or somewhere, and it got thousands of views.
Oh, right.
And it's such a good poem. And, she's a very talented... She was in a play that I saw online over COVID called Overflow, and it was about the trans bathroom situation before we had all this Supreme Court nonsense. And it was an incredible one-woman play. And then when COVID opened, she performed it to the public, and I got to go down and see it and meet her. And I was like, it was before I was out still, just, and I had some awful eyeliner on, and just my Against Me hoodie, which I'm still in 24/7, to be honest, which I live in. And I got my picture taken with her. Oh my God, it's like, because she's absolutely stunning.
Right.
And there was me with this badly applied eyeliner. I was like, there's no filter in the world that can make me look remotely acceptable in this photo. But she was absolutely lovely as well. So my poet would be recently on.
Right, I'll have to check her out.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I'll tell you what then. While we're talking about poets, and you've talked about you've wrote some but never performed any. Can we hear a poem from you now?
Yes. So I'm going to read out a poem called Happy. And this is, I'll stop with the introductions. I'm going to have to wear my glasses, so I'll look a bit, hopefully like a sexy librarian type. Okay. Oh, them. Oh, yeah. They always seem pretty happy. The life of the party, always with a drink in their hand. Like to dance, until they drank a bit too much. Then they'd disappear or be sick. Send strange drunken messages. You wouldn't hear from them for a bit. I don't know. Maybe they weren't all that happy. Oh, them. They were so happy, so passionate and romantic. We had such lovely times. They were thoughtful and kind, but we'd argue. The slightest thing would go wrong and they'd walk away. Volatile, but never violent. Kept it all inside. I don't know. Maybe they weren't so happy after all. Oh, them. Always upbeat, always running, never knew where to, travelling, going out, always busy with something, never content, always moving, never seemed happy in one place. Come to think of it, they never seemed happy. Oh, the blonde hair and blue eyes, that smile, such a happy child, always making a joke, didn't take life too seriously. They didn't have many ambitions though, never made plans for the future, didn't have any self-belief, very self-critical. On second thoughts, when I really think about it, maybe they weren't so happy after all.
Fantastic. An exclusive with Jade's first poem. You should come along to Poetical Outlaws and get up on the open mic and do a poem. Because you'd be encouraged and welcomed there, and you don't have to be you don't have to be nervous about about the environment. You might be nervous in yourself, because we always are anyway. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was excellent.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Tick the box.
That brings me to a next bit. Wanted, dead or alive, lyricist.
So my all-time favourite musician and lyricist is Paul Westerberg, and he was in the band The Replacements. They've been my favourite band since I was about 16. That's a long time ago. I got to see them a few times on there, because they broke up before, like when I was really little, and but I got to see them on their reunion tour. I did get the chance to meet him, and I turned it down, which is, I've never regretted it. It was I went to Minneapolis for the first time in 2004, and it's the first time I really travelled alone. And I went to Minneapolis for the week, and Paul Westerberg was playing 3 nights at the Pantage Theatre in Minneapolis. And I was getting to hang out and meet people and stuff. And I ended up hanging out with a guy called Jason and his wife, then wife. And Jason was in a band called The Crush, and then the Evening Rig. The Crush once supported Green Day at Wembley Arena. So, they were lovely people. And I was staying in a hostel, and within a few days, I was staying in their house, because they were like, come stay with us. Minnesota, it's called Minnesota nice, because people are that nice in Minnesota, and it's my favorite place on earth, really. I can't go back for as mentioned before, for a while, but hopefully
so nice,
soon. Hopefully, well, it's Donald Trump not so nice.
Yeah,
I mean, recently there was riots, and there was the ICE landed in Minneapolis. And it was so strange and surreal seeing these street names that I've walked down, and they're on the news, and there's gunfire. I was checking in with friends to see they were okay and all this kind of stuff, and they just said it's such a scary, scary time. But hopefully he'll kick the bucket soon. So I got the chance to meet, my friend was friends with Laurie Barbero, who was the drummer from Babes in Toyland, and one of my absolute heroes. And I ended up hanging out with Laurie Barbero, which was just unreal. And it was the week John Peel had died. And I had an NME or Melody Maker, I can't remember which one, and John Peel was on the cover. And Laurie saw the cover of the magazine. She was like, "Oh, John Peel," because they recorded a Peel sessions, and she's like, "Can I have a look at you? Can I have a read of your Melody Maker?" And I was like, "Please take it." She's like, "Oh, I couldn't." I was like, "It's an honor that you own my copy of."
Yeah.
And then anyway, on the third night of these gigs, Laurie said to me, like, "How about," I was going in the car with Jason, and I was like, "How do you want to come in the car with me?" And I said, "Oh yeah, sure, that would be cool." And I was like, "Hang on, aren't you driving Paul to the shows?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Come on, it'll be cool." And I was like, "Laurie, it is blowing my mind that I'm just having this conversation with you on a regular chatty basis." So Paul Westerberg, incredible like songwriter with the Replacements, and then as a solo artist, he's now pretty much a hermit. He hasn't released anything for quite some time, but he's got such a body of work that, you know, he doesn't need to be one of the greats. But yes, Paul Westerberg is my favorite lyricist. Still alive, but mostly unheard of these days.
Brilliant. Right, well, that brings us to comedian.
Okay. I think I'm cheating a little on this one. I thought about it. This one's a bit more difficult. I do have some favorite comedians, from Bill Hicks to Dennis Leary, Sean Hughes, who I got to see before he passed away very sadly, Izzy Sooty. There's some wonderful comedians, Jack D, like that I absolutely love. But my comedian's not really a comedian.
Right.
So she's actually a musician, but she does, basically it's Grace Petrie, and she's a folk musician. And I get, especially my band take the piss out of me for talking so much in between songs. And as pretty much every gig I do, especially solo, it's like a behind the VH1 Storytellers.
Yeah.
I think was the first one where bands would talk about a song and then play it.
Right,
I very much do that, especially my album launches. Like, I was on for an hour and a half. The album's 45 minutes. So that would give you an idea of how much I chatted. So there's an aspect to that. And Grace Petrie does that a lot, especially when she's playing solo without full band and everything. And she just tells incredible stories. And they're those stories which I think, I was close to putting Henry Rollins in this as well, is because I've seen a lot of his spoken word. I've seen him like so many times over the years, and I never really got into Black Flag. They were a bit too heavy for me, a bit too hardcore punk. I loved Husker Du, but they evolved, and that was if they hadn't evolved, I probably wouldn't have got into the earlier stuff. But Henry Rollins is a spoken word artist, and he tells those stories, and this is Grace Petrie does, and there's those elements that so interesting, sad, but then funny. There's always a laugh there, and that's something I love. When I'm telling a story, I like, the best stories are both funny and sad, I think.
Yeah.
And Grace Petrie is so wonderful at that, and she did a play, a sort of one-woman play, a spoken word thing called a Butcher-Do About Nothing, because she's a self-described butch lesbian, and she did this show called Butcher-Do About Nothing, which was about, she talks a lot about transness and stuff, because she's, she came out as, she was in the butch lesbian scene. That was a lot of her fan base. And then she came out and said, trans lives matter, trans rights matter. And, she faced a huge backlash from a lot of her core audience, and lost a lot of her core audience, and which I'd imagine was very damaging and incredibly brave of her to do, but she had to stand by her principles and what she believed. And Butcher-Do About Nothing is it was a fascinating I saw it twice in Edinburgh and in Newcastle. And she talks a lot about why she thinks there's this kind of hostility towards trans people. And it's really fascinating to understand it from the other side, which is what I was trying to do with the lyrics to Turf Wars, which was trying to understand it from another point of view. Because anyone can just scream into an echo chamber. It's the easiest thing in the world. But if you're gonna reach compromise or something, you need to try and understand things from both sides. And unfortunately, I mean, you got someone like an actress like Keira Knightley who's going to be in the new Harry Potter series saying, "Oh, people just need to sit down and agree with and talk." And it's like, unfortunately, the biggest transphobes don't want that. They don't want to talk. They don't want to find some sort of compromise. They want to eradicate us. J.K. Rowling does not want to sit around a table and talk with trans people. She wants to squeeze us out of society, and that's what she's doing. So Grace Petrie is my favorite trans ally, and she's just so funny, like with her stories, but so compelling, so interesting. So it is a bit of a cheat. I could have I'm so bad at telling jokes. Can I tell my favorite joke?
You can, yeah.
I'll tell my favorite short joke. 2 fish in a tank. One says to the other, "How'd you drive this fucking thing then?" And my other favorite, which I've told on stage a few times, I'm so bad at remembering. My favorite joke was, Captain, we're headed, like the sailor says to the captain, Captain, we're headed straight for that lighthouse. The captain, who is a moth, says, "I know, full steam ahead." It just absolutely kills me. And it either goes down a storm or leaves people absolutely dead, like inside and out. So yeah, it's a bit of a cheat, I suppose. But yeah, I'm going to put Grace Petrie. I'm sure she'll love being called a comedian.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we round up, can we hear another poem from you?
Yeah, sure. I'm so into this poetry now. It's like I can't make mistakes on my guitar. It's also on my fluff chords. Yeah, so it's a little bit longer, but this is called What My Friend Said. You don't seem the type, my friend said. But he didn't know about all those times as a 13-year-old trying on my mother's clothes, hoping she won't suddenly come home, my little heart pounding out of my chest, knowing I'd die if she caught me in her dress. We didn't see it coming, my friend said. Through all the bad romances and endless heartbreak of not being able to love another because I was so full of self-hate, the emotional instability, the tears and the fights, the endless feeling I was living a lie. We had no idea, my friend said. Dressed in a shirt when I'd prefer a blouse, unable to be me outside of the house, feeling like I couldn't breathe in a shirt and a tie, the feel of a suit more akin to a straitjacket, putting on a football shirt instead of that miniskirt I kept hidden at the back of my closet. We're just surprised, my friend said, though I spent most nights getting out of my head, blotting out the pain and blacking out the memories, only stopping drinking when I passed out in bed. Endless self-destruction with no dreams or goals, just a hazy fog I had and an endless black hole. We can't understand it, my friend said, and neither could I for most of my life, trying to hide and trying to deny all those feelings and thoughts, not thinking out loud in case I was caught, burying my true self like a dirty little secret, because Psycho Norman Bates was my internet, how there was no pride and there was no self-love, just feeling of guilt and shame and all of the above. We just want you to be happy, my friend said. And so do I, my friend. I said, so do I.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
Yes, we need more Jade poetry to do, That was brilliant. Well, before we go, if people want to get in contact with you, follow you, you could buy an album or, EPs. You've got a canny collection out there.
Yeah.
Can you let people know where they can get in touch?
Yes.
And I'll put the bios in, not the bio, I'll put the links in the bio thing underneath so you can click on them and go there.
Cool. Yeah. I'm on Instagram, Jade Mia Broadhead Music. Facebook, the same, I think, maybe Music 23 or 21 because I changed the page or something like that. Instagram's the most sort of thing I use the most. I'm on YouTube, just search on Jade Mia Broadhead. Same with Dinky Bossetti, it's Dinky Bossetti 21, which was the year we formed, so that's the handle on everything. Bandcamp is the place I recommend for music, streaming and downloads. We are on other streaming sites, which I will not mention, but we are there for availability. And I do just want to say I've got my next show solo is going to be on the 5th of September, and I think it's my first gig in Hartlepool, and I'm going to be supporting the Polyfellas, who are a wonderful band, at their album launch at the Vixen Bar.
Oh, from Sunderland, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why they're having their album launch in Hartlepool when they're from Sunderland, but there you go. But I'll be playing that, and that's wonderful. And the next Dinky gig is on the 10th of September, and that's at the Lubberfiend. So supporting Braticus with Gaydar, who are amazing as well. And you can get all the ticket links and everything from my bio on Instagram. Excellent.
Well, I'll be putting all the links on below. If you want to book Jade, get in touch. I would highly recommend her. And you can buy the albums on Bandcamp. As Jade said, give them a listen, and then you can probably just buy them and listen to them that way. You know, there's stuff on YouTube, and that just leaves me to say, until next time,
Poetical Outlaws.